Welcome to BGMC Celebrity Spotlight. We get to visit with folks we've sung with many times before, hear their stories, share their music, most of which we've never released. I'm Ruben Reynolds, music director of the Boston Gay Men's Chorus.
And I'm Bill Casey, the husband.
And we are pleased to have with us today Nick Adams.
Nick,
Hi,
hello.
Nick.
Hi guys. It's great to see you both.
It's great to see you. How are you doing?
You know, all things considered, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm healthy. I'm with my partner. We've actually been spending more time together than we have, I think, in the last 9 or 10 years. So
I feel you.
great.
Definitely.
So it's been amazing and challenging all at the same time. But I'm good. I can't complain.
Great.
Well, Nick, it was back in June of 2016 that you sang with the BGMC. What'd you think about the experience?
I mean, it was so special to me because it felt like a homecoming in a way, being a former student at Boston Conservatory and knowing you both for so many years. It was incredible. I felt like it was such an honor and the energy, it's such a supportive group, such a supportive establishment that I felt like, it was amazing having all of those guys that were kind of rooting for me the whole time. It was really special.
A really, really cool thing for me, though, too, is that you are so close with Michelle Chassé, who's our stage director. So it was Ruben and you and Michelle and me watching from the sideline over there. It really felt like old school, old times.
Yeah, like we got the gang back together. Yeah. It was very nice. Yeah, it was great.
Well, one of the things you sang on the concert that we've never released, and we're going to play it today, is Feeling Good. What brought up this song? What brought you here you tell a wonderful story in the middle of it about coming out. What was it like for you coming to Boston and coming to school for the first time?
Boston was such an incubation period in my life. It was my first time really being away from home, as it is for most kids, going away to college. But I was, not out to my family or anything all through high school until I got to Boston. And after I spent, I think, my freshman year, went back home and then decided I don't want to, I felt enough self-awareness and confidence in who I was becoming that I could finally share that with my family and not keep that in the dark anymore. So I really found, myself as a young adult in Boston. And so I felt like that song sort of like encapsulated that time in my life perfectly.
Right. I was telling Ruben earlier, I remember our very, very first really significant interaction that we had when we were in class together. We do a thing called the Freshman Review every year. It's now called the First Year Review. And you had a really interesting part in that. What did you do?
I sang a trio with two other ladies, and we sang "I Enjoy Being a Girl," which we laugh about now because I've been in drag, I think, 3 times in Broadway musicals. So,
do you remember when I asked you about it? I pulled you up to the piano and I said, "All right, I want to do this. Would you be cool with doing this? This sort of draggy number?" And you're like, "Yeah, whatever." You're so chill about it.
Well, why don't we take a listen then? This is from June of 2016. This is Nick Adams singing "Feeling Good."
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. A dragonfly out in the sun. You know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun. You know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Boston. How y'all feeling? I said, how y'all feeling? There you go. Man, it's good to be here. Boston holds a very special place in my heart. I went to school here. I discovered who I was here. And I finally came out of the closet here in Boston. That's right. And for the first time in my life, I finally felt free, I felt like myself, and I felt really, really good. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Sing to the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. And I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling good. So good, so good, so good. I'm feeling good. Thank you.
So it was really wild to see how fast when you left Boston Conservatory, you were on Broadway, it seems like almost immediately. Yeah, and the first roll up was Chicago.
It was crazy. It's whenever I like go back and work with students now and talk about my experience moving to New York and the whole like transition from college, and like they always ask like what my survival job was and how I have to tell them my story, which is really it's thrilling, and it's like the dream come true where you like move to New York and your first week there you book a Broadway show. But that's just the way it happened. But I always say it's because I was prepared when the opportunity was presented, and so I was able to just grab it. And it was just crazy because, you know, everybody talks about like the power of positive thinking and like manifesting things and having like a vision board for your life, and which weren't really that vocabulary. I don't think at the time was such a thing that we used. But in a sense, I always laugh about it because in my dorm room, like I was in dorm 26, and in that basement dorm room that I had show posters of Chicago and A Chorus Line next to my bed. And Chicago was the first Broadway show I saw when I was 15. So then to, 8 years later, move to New York and have that be my first Broadway show, it was like mind blowing to me. But I feel like I made it happen. I just like willed it into my future. But yeah, it's crazy. I got out of school. I auditioned for Chicago on a Thursday. I had a call back at the theater on Friday morning by myself. And then Monday morning, I got a phone call that I booked the job. And so it was just so fast.
Now, did you go into that in the ensemble at first? And then you played Mary Sunshine, right?
I did the national tour first as a swing and a Mary Sunshine understudy. So the first 10 months out of school, I toured with that show, which was, I'd never swung before. I mean, it was such an amazing learning experience because I was doing it with like Brenda Braxton and Carol Woods and really like heavy hitting, like amazing talent. You know, and I was a child, so I got to like just watch and learn so much from them. And our first destination was Tokyo, and we were in Tokyo for a month. It was just crazy because I felt so like isolated, and I don't know, it was wild. But so I was a swing covering all of the male ensemble, Fred Casely and Mary Sunshine. But that's really like when I booked the job, it was because I could sing that. So after my dance audition and they had me sing, they saw randomly on my resume under special skills I had strong falsetto, and they were like, "You sing soprano?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And which was like a party trick. Like I never lost it as a, you know, when I transitioned through my vocal range as a child, like developing, it just kind of stayed. And they were like, do you know a little bit of good? And I was like, yeah. And they said, can you come to the theater tomorrow morning and sing that for the musical director?
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God. And I hadn't been singing like in that register in so long, but it's something that I just keep in my back pocket. So I was like, okay.
For that bit of good in
So really, because of that you know, ability that I could dance the show, had the right look for them, and then seeing that, they were like, "Oh, this is it." It's like all the things came together, and so that really is like what got the job.
Oh.
So then I did the tour for 10 months, and while I was on tour, I was flying back to New York for callbacks for The Pirate Queen, which was my first original Broadway cast. And so while I was, I ended up getting the show, and I put my notice in for the tour. And then I gave myself like 2 months between ending the tour and starting rehearsals for The Pirate Queen, so I could just have some time in New York to get to know the city, because I got the job and then left town right away. So then they called me my last week on the road and said, can you stand by for Mary Sunshine on Broadway until you start Pirate Queen rehearsals? And I was like,
Whoa.
excuse me? The answer is yes. So really my debut then was as the standby for Mary Sunshine, which, you know, it was just wild to me to get to join. And so that cast, some of the people that I saw when I was 15 were still in it. And it was like,
Wow.
insane.
Well, one thing that I've always really admired about the way you've gone about this is that you showed up and you were like obviously ready to go, but you have really built a career over time. It didn't just sort of like just fall in your lap. You really had to work at it.
You know, you just did a national tour, didn't you, Nick?
I did, yeah. The Lincoln Center Theater Broadway production of Falsettos. You know, James Lapine directed it. It was with Max von Essen, Eden Espinosa, Nick Blameyer. Like an incredible. It was It's my favorite thing I've ever been a part of. I mean, the crazy thing is, I remember hearing while I was in school, somebody at a voice recital sang "Games I Play," and I was like, "What is that song? My God!"
I bet on the horses, I die by degree. I'm sure his divorce is a tribute to me. Ask me if I love him, it depends on the day. These are the games I play. It's tough, my friend. Love's looking strong. Play again the music. It's a song that I've been waiting to hear for much too long. Years too long. It hurts not to love him. It hurts when love fades. It's hard when part of him is off playing family charades. Ask me if I need him. Get him out of my way. These are the games. These are the games. These are the only
so I looked up the show and sort of fell in love with the score. I just love Bill Finn I love his music, and I was like, someday I have to do that. And I have to play that part.
We've been together for 9 months. 9 months, 9 months. 10 months. In fact, we've almost survived a year. True, but who is counting? We're too busy mounting our display of our affection.
That is Nick Adams. He's the one on the right with the popped shirt. He's in the musical Falsettos now, playing at SHN Golden Gate Theater. And if you haven't heard, and here's Nick. Nick plays Whizzer. And Whizzer, well, first let me just say that Nick is, I think, a quadruple threat, right? So he sings, he acts, he dances, and he will take your man. Because playing Whizzer in this show, you end up kind of taking the man of a husband, you know, here's a husband who's married to a woman with a kid, and the two of you get together as boyfriends in the show.
Yeah.
And that's wild. So what is it like playing Whizzer?
Well, it's interesting because I think it's relatable in a way for someone to be sort of put into an existing family set, like trying to navigate being like a father figure to this child, 10-year-old child, and then to kind of try to like co-parent with Trina, the wife. I come from a home of divorce, so like seeing how my step-parents fit into like our already established dynamic is something that people can connect with, I think. But it is, it's about chosen family and how we make that work and what we recreate as like normal. And I think it challenges people to look at like what normal is in that capacity.
And the really interesting thing about the show is that it's in 2 parts, essentially. So the first part is pre-AIDS crisis, and the second part is post-AIDS crisis. And you can see that probably, just by the way I've described it, by the second act, it gets pretty dark.
Yeah.
And some real bad things happen to this family, and the family gets broken apart because of the AIDS crisis. And so you're performing in San Francisco, which is, you know, one of the ground zeros of AIDS, and hopefully will be the end of AIDS one day.
Yeah.
How does that kind of change the performance for you?
I think the magnitude of the subject matter of the show is felt in a much deeper way here. I think, you know, the New York and San Francisco communities were hit the hardest at that time the show takes place. So even like at the stage door, talking to people that are survivors or that lost people, it just reminds me how important it is. I'm getting emotional talking about it because it is so powerful. But it just reminds me like this show it's an important story to tell for them and for the people that were lost. But it's just I think it speaks a lot about like what they went through, and I've talked to people that lived through it, and I try to bring as much honesty and like authenticity as I can.
You know, if you would have told me though, like then that I would be doing it with James Lapine, who created the show with Bill Finn, you know, and in my childhood mind, like working with the director of Into the Woods and Sunny in the Park with George, I was like, no way would he ever choose me to play like the lead of this musical. And then that happened. It still gives me like, I get emotional thinking about it, but it was such a milestone for me to go, you know, when I first came out of school, like I was really regarded as a dancer who could sing, and to kind of have crafted my journey to be where I am now is really, that was like, you know, I don't know. It's like a huge moment for me that happened.
There was a wonderful number you did on the concert with us called I Go to Rio, originally done by Peter Allen, but I think Hugh Jackman sang it in The Boy from Oz. And to say that you're a dancer and a singer is an understatement. Why don't we take a look now at I Go to Rio?
Awesome. that like popped up on my Facebook the other day, and I revisited it. I was like, that was so fucking fun.
Remember the shirt that was so heavy?
Let's use the ruffles for days. I saw that shirt and I was like, okay, we're just going all in on this. Amazing.
You were so cool about it. To tell the story, we had arranged a costume for you, and it was obviously a sort of a Rio Carnival inspired thing, and it had great big gigantic puffy sleeves and everything. And I remember you looking at it and going, "This is really heavy." I have to dance in this really heavy thing. You were amazing.
It looked amazing, though, I have to say. It was absolutely perfect.
I remember the way the audience responded to it. They were just so, and if I remember this correctly, how much dance experience had you had before you came to Boston Conservatory?
I started dancing for real like in high school. I had been, doing musical theater and community theater in my hometown since I was like 9. But I just was like naturally flexible and had, I could like remember choreography. And I had like a lot of energy. And so I was like, oh, I'm great. I'm amazing. And then I took, I think my junior year of high school, I started to take ballet and was like, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing at all. So while I was in school in Boston, I did all dance major classes in addition to the musical theater dance curriculum. So I could kind of get, caught up to where I felt like I needed to be. I wanted to be able to like do anything when I left school. And I just tried to make the best of the time while I was there. Mm-hmm. So I feel like while I was in Boston, it really shaped me as a dancer too.
Great.
I remember seeing you with Michelle Chassé all the time. She would be pulling you aside for one little tip or another. Yeah. And you're very right. I mean, you've had such a range of things that you did. There was another piece that you sang with us that just came kind of out of nowhere. That's Church of the Poison Mind. And it's one of the wildest numbers we've ever done. Showed a lot of personality in that.
Sure did.
Do you remember when you did it? We were up on stage. Michelle was in the audience, and she came running in the house. She came running up on the stage with scissors, and she cut your sleeves off. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she cut the sleeves off and then made it like a little crop top. I think we cut another like 3 inches off the bottom too. Yeah.
Right, I remember that. And you were just like, all right.
We do a lot on the fly at the BGMC. Okay, this is Church of the Poison Mind, Culture Club, and the indomitable Boy George.
See
So, Nick, everybody wants to know, what is it with you and Brittany? You are obsessed.
Okay, I did a podcast the other day with these two guys that are like theater queens, and they were like, okay, we know that you're a Britney huge fan. Like, tell us where that came from. And they were like, oh, what's like a Ring of Keys moment in your life that kind of inspired you as a performer? And this is it. Okay, so
Like,
you know, when I was
yeah.
yes, there was something about, you know, and it's like, say what you will about her now and like how, you know, her life is sort of the path she's gone down. But there was a time when I was in high school where that human being could entertain, like there was just something, a star power, like quality about her. And I just was like, well, that's how you do it, bitch. That's how you do it. And so there was some type of like, she was 100% like in the moment, and some of those major like Video Music Award performances and those big things. Like, I remember seeing her on tour, and it was like she was just so fearless, and I really connected with the amount of presence that she brought, and just like her star quality. It was like undeniable at the time. And so, you know, she was a great dancer, and there was just all those things wrapped into one, and I was like, that's how you do it. I wanted to exude that type of confidence. Yeah.
I remember
and so that's where it was born.
I remember when you showed up on stage and you had on a Britney t-shirt. I think it was like a tank top or whatever. Yes. And I was like, girl, are you going to wear a t-shirt on this show? But it was great because you look like such a fangirl. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's like a groupie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was actually, you chose to sing this song. We came to you and said, listen, we have all these numbers with chorus, but we need a solo number for you. And you said, I got it.
Yeah, no, I just thought it would be so fun. And I love this like weird arrangement that I have of it that is kind of like unexpected. And I just thought it fit the bill. So
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. This is Toxic, the Nick Adams version.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. You're dangerous, I'm falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. I need a hit, baby, give me it. You're dangerous, I'm loving it. And too high, can't come down. It's in the air and it's all around. Do you feel me now? With a taste of your lips, I'm alright. You're toxic, I'm slipping under the taste of a poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? And I love what you do, don't you know that you're toxic? It's getting late to give you up. I took a sip from the devil's cup. Slowly, it's taking over me. Too high, can't come down. It's in my head, spinning round and round. Do you feel me now? With a taste of your lips, I'm alright. You're toxic, I'm slipping under the taste of a poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic?
So, Nick, you said earlier, I think you said anyway, that you'd been in drag on Broadway 3 times.
That's right.
That was obviously Little Mary Sunshine. And what were the other 2?
I did the revival of La Cage with Kelsey Grammer.
Right.
La Cage, right before Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. So those were the 3 biggies. And one of
And
my favorite. Sorry, go
You
ahead.
originated the role in
Priscilla.
right?
I did. Yeah, I got to originate Felicia, which is Guy Pearce in the film.
Direct from the Palace Theater, here is I Love the Nightlife and I Will Survive from Bette Midler's Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
And we made some, changes to the show from when it was in Australia and London. The Americanized Broadway version, instead of my character being obsessed with ABBA, it was Madonna. And so we got to craft like my new portions of the score, for the Broadway version. And, it was so amazing because I had to say in some of the song selections and like the arrangements that we did and like all that comes along with getting to originate something. It was really fun to kind of feel like I had a hand in building that character.
5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our circle. Stop. Everyone stop. Right where you are.
Tony Sheldon here from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. As you can see, we're rehearsing for our Macy's Thanksgiving appearance.
Flip. 3, 2, 1. Fix your hair. Fix your hair. And I've spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high and you see me. It's somebody new. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hi, Playbill. It's Nick Adams. I'm here with the cast of Priscilla at the Macy's Day Parade rehearsal. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
We're gonna dance around with the koalas. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Amy is coming down. Here we go.
I'm more than excited because I've never been to the Macy's Day Parade, never even seen it. No show that I've been in before has ever had the opportunity to perform, so this is a first for me. So I am really excited.
Well, I know that anytime you have a character that you come to, whether it be an old one or a new one, it's got to be an exciting process. But to be involved with something like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, oh my God, how much fun that must have been.
Yeah, I mean, it was the time of my life. It was, just so over the top and so, it was life-changing for me because before that I had been, in the ensemble and understudying. It was my first opportunity to, step up and play a starring role and get to originate something. And I met my partner in that show, so it really was like life-changing for me.
Didn't you tell me that they kept putting you together as
Yes.
dancers? Yeah. How did that?
Yeah. Anytime that I'd have to be like dancing with an ensemble guy or get lifted up or anything, they would always put me with Kyle. And we'd already I was like laser focused because it was like I have the weight of the show on my shoulders. I have to like do my work, but there was always like a little, energy. And then once the show was like finally up, we were like, okay, what is this? What's going on here?
That's awesome. So, and I'm not trying to butter you up here, but that you're a real role model to a lot of young folks, especially the young LGBTQ folks that really are trying to figure out who they are. And one thing that I've always admired about you is that from the very, very, very beginning, you have been out and proud and utterly confident in your skin. Was that easy to do, or did the industry folks want you to tone it down, or did you just sort of stand your ground the whole time, or how did that work?
Well, I think I just, when I came to New York, I just felt like I was just living my life authentically. I didn't think, I just always identified as a queer, like, member of the LGBTQ family, and there wasn't like a decision that I made to say publicly, like, hey, I'm gay. That was just who I was. And so
you just got off the bus.
Yeah, exactly. And so I never like threw out a press release to be like, hey guys, I'm gay. It was like, this is who I am. But I have had agents and people involved on my team in the past and kind of that have given me pushback on that, acting as though it was a hurdle. I'm just like, no. It's a career. Like I I can't stifle my being in my life, because it's more important for me to be who I am than to have like a job opportunity come my way. And I would never want to work with someone that had a problem with me being who I am.
We have heard your Boy George. We've heard your Britney Spears. Now let's hear you do Donna Summer. This is hot stuff. Nick, it's been quite wonderful visiting with you today and taking a stroll down memory lane and hearing some of these old performances. Recently, I saw something else that you were in, though. It's something called Broadway Bears.
Yeah, so it's an annual fundraiser for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. It's actually their biggest fundraiser, their annual fundraiser. And this year, unfortunately, because of COVID, it had to be virtual. And it was sort of a retrospective of past hit numbers.
Can I make a little toast? Can we get a little close? Can I get an amen? Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a Holy Ghost? Somebody give me a beat. Let me see you on your feet. Somebody say you're a man. I don't give a goddamn. I wanna be a freak.
Hi, I'm Nick Adams.
Hi, I'm Kyle Brown.
We are incredibly proud to have become members of the Broadway Bears family over the years.
Many years.
As you know, COVID-19 has hit our community hard, leaving countless friends and colleagues in all aspects of the business without work since Broadway closed in March. That's actors, musicians, dancers, singers.
All sorts of people backstage and behind the scenes. Broadway Cares has been there to help our friends in their time of need, whether it be to help them pay their rent, help them buy groceries, or even help them get seen by a doctor.
But it's an incredible event. They raise millions of dollars, and it not only helps our community, but anyone that's throughout the country that's either living with or struggling with HIV or AIDS, and a slew of other things as well. I mean, it's really fantastic, and I'm honored to be a part of that community and a part of that family. So, but we asked, during the show, it was free to stream, but if you could give, any donation during this time, it really helps out. And they raised, I think, so far over $700,000 that night. So wow. It's been great.
That's phenomenal, Nick. It's so fabulous to see you and Kyle being a part of this community and really standing up and fighting for your community, for your friends. At the Boston Gay Men's Chorus, I mean, it's been almost a year since we've been able to be together and sing, yet we still meet on Wednesday nights and talk to each other and support each other and talk about what our fears are and what our joys have been this week. And the whole time we're working on just keeping the doors open so we can be back singing for our audience again soon.
Yeah. This is such a scary time for the arts, especially because we really are probably the last to come back from all of this. And for anybody that's watching right now, if you are able to give anything to the Gay Men's Chorus, please do. It will be very necessary and help them out so much. So if you have it in your heart and your pocket right now, please give.
Well, you've got good at asking, haven't you? I love it.
You can actually go to our website and easily make a donation or text Give BGMC to 41411. If it were me, I'd go to the website because I'm much better at that kind of thing. Thank you so much, Nick. It's been wonderful catching up with you. I hope we see you soon in person.
Me too. I miss you guys.
Love you, boy.
Love you too.